Aloha everyone, welcome to my talk, Authenticating Your Next Jamstack App, or Authenticating Your Next.js Jamstack App. Really, it should be your next one. So we will cover Next.js and Auth0, and I'll show you how the pair work very nicely together. So before I move on, let me quickly introduce myself. My name is Kapehe. You can call me Cap for short. I'll answer to either one. You can find me on Twitter at Kapehe_OK, where I tweet all things tech, working out, my animals, sometimes anime, because I really love anime. I do developer relations at Sanity.io, which is a platform for structured content, and my journey into tech isn't your standard story. I used to be a flight attendant, serving drinks at 35,000 feet. Then one day I woke up and decided I needed to make a change. Well, no, okay, it wasn't overnight, but once I decided, I moved quickly, and I haven't looked back since. So let's cover really quickly what we will be chatting about today. Next.js, you may or may not have heard of it, but no worries, we'll go over it together. And then Auth0. I'm going to guess you're familiar with Auth0 and authentication, being that this is an Okta and Auth0 conference, but even if you're new to all of it, no worries, we'll cover it. By the end of this talk, we will have a fully authenticated Next.js app. Now, this talk and the stuff that we will be doing together can go on any Next.js application. So if you already have one up and running and wanted to do authentication and get that spun up, you're able to use this talk, that app, mix the two together, and you got an authenticated app. Really, any Next.js app will do. But in our app today, we will have a game that can only be played if you log in and authenticate yourself with the app. So once we have our app up and running, we'll go ahead, get all the code written out so that if somebody wants to play the app, they can log in. Now, we want our game secure, but we also want our users' information secure. And so by using Next.js and Auth0, we will succeed with that. All of that can be done in the time that we are done with this talk, which is pretty neat. But first, let's cover what Next.js is. So Next.js is a React framework and so much more. If you head to nextjs.org, you'll find absolutely everything you need to get started with Next. But let me get you spun up on some key parts of what makes Next.js different. So Next.js is it's a framework. It's a React framework, like I said. It's designed to help with building out applications. Next.js comes with pretty much all the features you need for production. If you're familiar with React, then picking up Next.js won't be too difficult. React out of the box does not support server-side rendering, so like loading or rendering the page before a user visits, but it can be set up. Now with Next, you get that server-side rendering right out of the box, which is really awesome, and we'll talk more about that. Now, next thing I want to talk about is the file system routing. Anything that lives within the pages directory is now a route in your application. So you may have run the command create React app before to get a React app up and running. For Next, you run kind of the same thing, but create Next app to get your app up and running. Once you do that, you'll see a directory named pages or a folder. That pages directory is the beginning of your routing system. Any file that goes into this pages directory will automatically become a route. So let's say in these screenshots, you have an about page. Under pages, you would add an about.js file. Anything that goes into that file will be found under the route mywebsite.com/about. It really makes for easy organization of your code and your files, and they become your website's route and the UI, which is really nifty and handy. So Next.js is famous for its pre-rendering capabilities. Pre-rendering is when it generates all the HTML for a page. So when the user visits a page on your site, they see something, at least something, while the rest of the page loads. So this makes for really fast load times. With Next, we get two types of pre-rendering. We get static site generation and server-side rendering. Now let's talk about server-side rendering. It is best for dynamic data. So this is when the client or the browser is asking for dynamic information that the user is requesting or that they need. So this is very suitable when an HTML page contents vary with each request. So some examples would be user-specific data like bank account information, playing an online game, or like an online learning path with courses. So like you've already hit modal 4.3, so you want to save your place there. That kind of stuff. The life of server side is when the client needs data, generally dynamic. The client requests it from the server side. It then generates the HTML page and the content needed and sends it back. So the HTML page is generated on each request. Now, with static site generation, this generates the HTML page at build time. So this means all of your HTML is pre-rendered and is sent on each request. So this is very helpful for like a marketing site, blog, docs, landing pages, e-commerce websites. It's perfect when your website isn't extremely unique for each user, like docs page. They're gonna come, but it's not gonna be really unique for them. A lot of that page can be pre-rendered and ready whenever a user comes that way. In the past, before we had things like Next.js, it could just be plain HTML and CSS for the static site. But now with tools like Next.js, we are able to get static output that can include things like HTML, CSS, JSX, bundlers, and more. Now, our static site can be more robust from the beginning. So the life of a static site is you have the HTML, JSX, whatever, built at build time. It's hosted on a CDN. And then when your user visits your website, you now have an almost fully ready website for them to view and use. It's fast and powerful for your users. So the app we are going to be building today, super exclusive snake game. I just found this with, it's an NPM package that I used, and all the authentication will be done today, all on our Next.js application. And yeah, this is super exclusive, so let's make sure people have to log in before they can play it. So let's go over what we will be doing. We'll start off with the application that isn't authenticated. We'll head over to Auth0, get our application set up there, install the NPM package into our Next.js application, and then finally do the necessary steps to authenticate our Next.js applications, like login buttons, logout buttons, protecting routes, all that good stuff. So without further ado, let's head on over to our browser and our VS Code, set up our application, and secure that game up. All right, so now I'm in VS Code. Here's my app that I have done just a little bit too. But if you want to start with your own Next.js application, you can run the command npx create next app and then name it whatever you want, my app, whatever. But this would create this code that we kind of already have. I've just added a couple of things. Now, remember when I was talking about the pages directory? This is going to be our file system routing that happens here. All of this is already in it except for the play.js. So play.js I've added. This is the snake game. And then I have edited the files that it comes with, but this would be already in here, these couple, and then most of this is already in it. I haven't done much. So let's get this app up and running. I'm going to run the command npm run dev, and that is running on localhost 3000. Here's my auth0.com. We will come back to that. So localhost 3000, let's play a snake. So remember the route was play. If I go here, here is my snake game, and you can get access to it. It's not protected. There's nothing going on. You just have a snake game and a route that is unprotected. But let's protect it. Let's get a login button, a logout button, and let's get our very exclusive game protected because we don't want anyone just playing it. All right, so I'm going to come back to auth0.com and hit log in. And it's going to take me to my dashboard. Now, the first thing I want to do is I want to create a new application. So I'm going to click on Applications and Applications and click on Create Application. Now, I'm going to call this Next Auth Snake, and we'll do single page web application for ours. Click on Create. And initially we'll see this quick start, but we don't need this because we're going to be doing this all on our own. We just want to go to settings, and we will need all this information right here in a little bit. So keep it handy. Don't get rid of it yet. But we're going to come down here and we're going to put in some values into allowed callback URLs, logout URLs, and web origins. So allowed callback URLs, we're going to do localhost. Let's add the HTTP localhost 3000, And then we'll do API/auth/callback, and we will create that route. Right now, we don't have this. And then allowed logout URLs, we'll do HTTP, we'll do localhost 3000, and then same thing here, localhost 3000. I forgot an L. Perfect. So that all looks very good. Let's scroll down here and click on Save Changes. All right, so Auth0 is good and done and ready. Now let's get these values into our application. So if we come back here, we are going to create a .env.local file. But before that, let's actually get in our Next.js and Auth0 package. If we come back here, this is the GitHub for the Auth0/Next.js-Auth0. So this SDK is great for adding authentication to your Next.js application. We will be running this command, so let me just copy it. So come back here and let's npm install that Auth0 Next.js SDK. And cool, it's been added and we have it. Our package.json has been, it has that added to it. We can actually go look and double check. Perfect. So it's right there ready for us to use. But let's tell our Next.js application where our Auth0 credentials are by creating a .env.local file. So in the root of my file of my project, I'm gonna do new file, and we're gonna do .env.local. Now it's grayed out, which means it's already in my git ignore because we don't want this pushed to GitHub. But let's go back to it and let's put in, I'm just going to copy these values and let's get these values filled in. So Auth0 secret. We need to run a command to get our Auth0 secret. To do that, to find that, let's go back to that SDK GitHub. And we're going to come down here and right here to get our secret, we're going to run this command. It's just going to make us a random string. And I'm going to be deleting this application when this talk is done. So I'm going to show you all my client secrets and this secret. So do what you want with it, but it won't be much when this is done. So we're going to run that and we're going to copy this right there and put it right in our Auth0 secret. Awesome. Our base URL is going to be localhost 3000 for now. Change that if you need to, if it's hosted. And then issuer base URL is going to be HTTPS. And we're going to come back to our application and we need to grab our domain. Put that right in there. Now client ID, copy that, put it in there, client secret, and you're going to see my client secret, but that's okay. And save that. Again, this is get ignored, so it won't be pushed to GitHub because we don't want it to be. Awesome. So we have our application all set up, but let's actually secure our entire application with the Auth0. So what we're going to do is we're going to come to API and we want to add a new folder. So pages, API, new folder, let's call it auth. Now we're going to create a catch-all file that is Next.js. Next.js has these catch-all files. I'm gonna do new file. It has a square bracket and then .js. You could do like slug, okay? So that means I could do API/auth/Kapehe and it would fill it in, or / the username or game or whatever it is. So we want that catch-all to actually not say slug, rename it to ... auth0. Perfect. So now we can have like API/auth/callback, API/auth/login or logout. But now these all are valid and it will be a catch-all. So really nice to have that capability, and that is with Next. So now that we have that, the thing that we need to do in this file is 2 lines to bring in the auth0. So we're going to do import handle auth from that package that we brought in, or the SDK that we brought in. Export default handle auth. Awesome. So we have that. We have brought in our auth. Let's authenticate and secure our entire application. So we're going to go to, let's collapse all that, our app.js. So let's secure our entire app. This is like the parent app or the parent file for our Next.js app. Let's surround this with user provider from auth0. This will wrap our application with auth0. So now that everything needs that user provider, we need to import user provider from that package that we brought in. Save that. I missed a capital U. Now, because we have added a bunch, let's restart our server, npm run dev, get that up and running, localhost 3000, and let's go to /API/auth/login. And now we can authorize this app. So we're going to accept, and it takes us right back to our homepage, which we kind of don't want. We kind of want it to go to the game. So let's mess around. Let's add some login buttons. Let's protect some routes, because still, I mean, I am logged in, but play is not protected still. You can still just get to it. So let's come back here and let's add some login buttons and protect some routes. So we're going to not worry about that yet, not worry about that anymore. Index.js, let's come here. There's going to be some buttons we want to add. And right under here, under this p tag, let's add next link. So next link is the way that we are able to link around our application. This is a next thing. So we need to also import, link from next link. This makes for really nice navigation throughout your app. In here, we are going to do an A tag, and we will call it login to play. Now it doesn't do anything yet because it's just, there's no href, but href usually would go in the A tag. For next link, we put it in the link. So href, and that's going to take us to /API/auth/login. So that will navigate us to that login page that we were just at to log in. All right, so let's save it and let's see our login button. Let's go back here, login to play. Click on that, and nothing happens because we were logged in, but we're logged in. So we want to somehow change the UI to show that we're logged in. So it takes us to our game, right? Or it changes these buttons, or it doesn't show this button if the user is logged in. But let's add a auth0 function called useUser. So we're going to import useUser from that SDK. And then down here, let's do const user is equal to useUser. Awesome. And then let's console.log user. Save that. Come back here. Let's log into play again, just double check. And we'll inspect console.log object. And there it is. There's all the user information. So we know that we're logged in. It's working. Let's keep working on our code. All right. Now let's hide this if there is a user. So we'll do, so if no user, let's open that up and wrap this around here. So if we are logged in, that should disappear. Perfect. Now underneath that, if there is a user, let's do, the log out button and a play button. So we'll do the same, like link. This will be for play, and then we'll do another one for the log out. So in link, we'll do an A tag, and this will say play. And then this one will do an A tag that says log out. Awesome. And it's mad at us. Let's wrap all this in a div. Cut that. And there we go. Perfect. So now we have the link here. Let's add our href. We want this one to be /play. So it takes us to play. And we want this one, this href, to be API/auth/logout. Now, if the user is logged in, that will show up. Perfect. So we're logged in. Now, if we log out, log into play. And user is not defined. Log into play. Let's log in with Twitter. It's authenticating. Now we have those. And it has all of the information. Log out or play takes us to play. So let's add some styling real quick to that. I'm just going to copy and paste the styling that I already have, but I'm going to add, I'm using Tailwind. I'm going to put it right on this link for play. And then for the logout, same thing on this A tag. And then for this div, we will add some styling. And then I'm going to add the log into play. Let's add some styling as well, because we want all this to look pretty. And now it should have some styling. Perfect. Okay. So notice when I hit play, there's no log out button. So you have to kind of leave. You got to kind of go back to log out. If we want to log out from here, let's add a log out button. So we will go to our play.js because it's in that file that we want to add it. And underneath good luck, where it says good luck, we will do the same thing. We'll add a link. And then in there, we will add our A tag. We will do log out. And our href for this is going to be /API/auth/logout. And we need to import that link. Import link from next link. And then let's add some styling real quick to it. Again, I'm just using Tailwind CSS. You can use any styling you would like, but I'm just going to put that in, and that should be good to go. Awesome. Let's see. Log out. So now we can log out from the play page. Log in. Authenticate with Twitter. It's authenticating. Play or log out. Let's play. And now we can log out from here. So it's all set up, but watch this. Play is not protected. So I'm logged out. I can still go to play. We want to protect this route. So Auth0 has a with page auth required that we can add. So let's go back. So we need to add 2 lines of code. So let's do import with page auth required from at Auth0. Yep, that one. And then we will export here, export const get server side props and equal that to with page auth required. Save that, and it should work. Let's go check it out. So log into play, but let's see if we can even get to that page. No, it needs to be authenticated. So it takes us right to our login page, which is really nifty, or we can log in here. So if someone tries to access it, it says, nope, you have to log in first to access this super exclusive game. So let's do it that way. /play. It's like, darn it, I need to log in with Twitter. And now we're good. So yeah, our app is fully authenticated. This is Next, and everything we need I've added all the styling with Tailwind. If you want to add styling with something else, of course, use something else, but I've used Tailwind. And yeah, so let's do a couple final things just to like fix like maybe errors that come up or loading that comes up. And I'm just going to, for index, I'm going to add error and loading. Let's get rid of this. And we'll do if loading, return a div that says loading, just for kind of like user benefits. And if error, return that error. Awesome. So that's just kind of like a safe catch. If something happens, we have that. All right, so now our entire app is set up. It's fully authenticated using Auth0 and the SDK Auth0 Next.js library, which is super useful and super helpful. Again, everything that we did today can be added to any Next.js app. And that's the really awesome thing about this SDK is it works with any Next. And then to add the protected route was super quick with this get page auth required. So yeah, that is Next.js and Auth0 combined. If you have any Next.js application, remember everything we did here can be taken and put on any Next.js app. Using this Auth0 SDK is super helpful, and using those couple lines of code to make a page protected is also very helpful. There's not a lot of code you have to write because all the hard work has been put into that SDK. So yeah, go ahead, take this talk and authenticate all of your Next.js apps and get all of your login buttons working properly. All right, so thank you so much for hanging out. This has been a really fun talk for me. I had a lot of fun creating it. I had a lot of fun creating my application. Combining Next.js and Auth0 is almost magical. It's like too good to be true with this SDK. So take this talk and authenticate all of your Next.js apps and make all your users' credentials safe and secure because we all want that, really. That is a picture of me and Bonnie, one of my animals. We love Bonnie. She wanted to say hi to everyone, but yeah. You can find me on Twitter at Kapehe_OK. Again, pop in, say hi. I'd love to chat. But thank you so much for watching, and I will see you all around.